Hey, I'm Matthew with a Fine Press. I create invitations that people won't throw away. And this is Creative People Are Weird. Welcome to another installment, and this is what I've got to say today. Creative people, get your junk together when it comes to business. The reason I'm talking about this is yesterday I attended a symposium that a group of my community hosted about steam. Now, I'm not talking about hot air, hot water. I'm talking about the science, technology, engineering, and math that we've come to call STEM in this country, that our government touts as kind of the way of the future in education. Many people in this country, including myself, believe that a component's missing, and that's the arts. And some people say the arts and design. So there's a movement to add the arts into STEM and call it STEAM. And so it was a symposium on the economic impact of STEAM and why it's important to business people to add the arts into our education system, into our lifestyle. And something a friend of mine said really stuck with me. Now, to put it in perspective, this friend has children my age. And he was a part of a panel discussion and said something to the effect of, he said, with my peers, meaning his, it's easy to divide them up into groups of creative people and uncreative people. Some of them grew up to be lawyers, some of them grew up to be bankers, and some of them grew up to be architects. Some of them grew up to be graphic designers and marketing people. Some of them grew up to be fashion people. And they were the artistic people, and everybody else wasn't. He said the thing that he's discovering through his employees, through his own children, is that millennials don't divide that way. We, for the most part, all see ourselves as creative. It may be that we write songs on the weekend. It may be that we go to a job that we hate, doing very uncreative work, and come home and are in an improv comedy troupe. It could be any one of those things, but we don't divide our lives into creative and uncreative. Most of us feel that we're in some way creative. For crying out loud, all of my high school band friends, go figure, I was a band geek, who I observe from afar, from the distance of 1,000 miles and Facebook. Most of them who aren't professional musicians, who aren't in professionally creative careers, consider themselves creative and are still writing poetry and are still painting and are still playing their instruments and doing all of those things. And all of that to say, our clients, our patrons, our bosses no longer consider themselves uncreative and see creativity as a mystery. Most of them feel as though they're creative and they can still get their business stuff together. They still know how to operate in a business world. And so they don't see the excuse of being right-brained or being creative as a reason to not know your junk when it comes to business. And that means that the people who are more adept at running a business, at being business-like when appropriate, those are the people who are going to get the work. Now, granted, you may not be chasing after the bone. You may just want to be creative. But if you want to make a living at it, if you want it to be something that changes the world, you've got to do work that gets out there in front of people. You've got to do things that require you to act like a business. So, creatives, get off your butts, figure out how to be a business person, go read some good books on it, or find somebody to be your business person. To everybody else, thank you for paying us. We need your support. We need your time, energy, attention, and we need you to be firm but gentle in reminding us that we've got to be a business first. We've got to figure out, not first, but we have to be a business. We have to figure out how to do these things right. That's it for this week. This is Creative People Are Weird. I really want to hear your feedback. I want to hear what you've got to say. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I completely out on a limb? Tell me what you think about this whole STEM versus STEAM thing, and tell your friends. Send more people to see Creative People Are Weird. This week I've had a lot of architecture students follow. Maybe you guys are watching. Thank you. Show me your work. Let me see what you're working on. I'd love to know. I think architecture is fascinating. I'm Matthew with a Fine Press. This is Creative People Are Weird. I'll see you next Thursday.